It's a nice place. Well, I might have been born just poor white trash, but I sold 1 million records, made a little cash. The doctors and the lawyers, they don't think it's funny that they're living next door to white trash with money. White trash with money, let's go. Listen, did you know? Welcome to White Trash with Money. Mike Trout. Power hitter, yeah. I mean, Mike Trout is a phenomenal. I think we're supposed to be doing an ad read right now. For Merit Productions.
Tony Gwynn still.
Merit Productions. You should use Merit Productions for all your business content needs. They're into BDSM.
What?
Business development through social media.
Justin, I don't think that's what BDSM stands for, buddy.
That's what it means right now.
I think you are mistaken.
Merit Productions. Use them for all your business development through social media needs. Welcome back to White Trash with Money. White Trash with Money podcast, right? Your host, Justin Danger Nunley, co-host.
He emphasizes the co, which is, I don't know if I accept like it or it's disrespectful. I don't know, but it's the paycheck hasn't bounced yet.
Co-host Matthew Lyda, the flip-flop wonder. Asian Andy back there, he did name himself, so don't come at me, right? Yep. And our special guest today, the Sage Steele.
What am I doing here?
I don't know.
I have no idea what I've agreed to.
Boy, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, Sage.
This goes back a couple years.
3 years, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we met in Nashville Super Speedway in the green room. Yeah.
Yes, we did.
You were
Who
standing.
knew that I was more of a redneck than you?
I had no clue.
Was this a Make-A-Wish thing that you were on?
No, not that time.
Okay.
Not that time. I did that at Bristol.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my
You're like a driver for the day and all
Yeah,
this stuff.
yeah.
Did you do that? Did you drive a pace car?
I got to. They wouldn't let me drive it.
I've done it twice. Take that.
Driving it?
I have driven the pace car to start a NASCAR race twice. Brickyard.
See, where are we coming as
Texas Motor Speedway.
Where are we coming as a country when we let women do this? You know?
Again, DEI.
Here we go.
I'm a DEI hire times
What would have been
two.
so funny?
Yeah.
It would have been funny if you wrecked, though.
What?
Not that to hurt you or anything like that, but like just that, the stereotypical thing, that would have been a good joke. It would have been a good joke for comedians.
I am sorry that I did not make that happen.
Yeah.
You know what did happen?
Way to break the stereotypes.
Wow. Just going right in. You know what did happen?
What?
This is at the Brickyard in 2012. I've loved NASCAR from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I have a NASCAR story to tell you later.
Mm.
I was super nervous because you have to go through training, and then on that back straightaway, I'm like, let's go. And you have to sign away your life before you do it. And I'm in turn 3. You do 2 laps. I'm in turn 3, and you got 43 cars lined up behind you, warming up their tires. I mean, I was almost crying happy tears.
It's really cool to watch.
It is the most amazing, powerful thing to look in your rearview mirror and see Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson right behind me. And all of a sudden, Jimmy taps me. Mm-hmm. And I put my arm out the window. I was like, let's go, bitch. Like it was one of the best moments of my life that Jimmy did that. And then I saw him after the race and he's like, you're aggressive. I'm like, I know.
That's awesome.
Let's go. It literally was one of the highlights ever because I started in sports doing NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this is
really?
legit. Yeah.
You cut your teeth in sports in NASCAR.
Because my first sports job was in Indianapolis. So Brickyard, this is like 94, 95. And Dale Sr. was my first ever NASCAR interview.
Holy
Literally,
crap.
I know. And
you are White Trash with Money.
My goodness.
She landed on the right podcast.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
I've got the newspaper from Daytona the day after he passed away.
Oh,
Yeah, it's on the
really?
front of the covers in my office and everything else.
Really?
So, yeah.
I was there covering that.
Mm.
Like that night, went over there.
What was the news like during that? Like, what information were y'all getting? How quick were you getting? What were y'all saying? What were y'all
remember, this is like pre-cell phones being in
Yeah.
everybody's pocket.
Well, you know,
know?
he announced it pretty quick.
Yeah.
They came back in and announced it very
Which was
quickly.
so shocking for all of
Yeah.
us, right? Because it looked like just your run-of-the-mill accident.
Yeah.
It didn't look like anything. What I remember the most was standing outside. Is there a fountain right in front of the track? It's where tons of people gather, fans, pre-race, whatever. And for 2 days I was there, and I could not believe the number of people, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who sat there and didn't move and just sobbed. Their kids running all over the place, dirty, not eating, because the adults, the fans were just in absolute shock. So I was just there for reaction and the candlelight vigils, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But he was so much more than just a driver to
Yeah.
so many people, you know.
Yeah.
He's
But
an
yeah,
icon. I mean, he is a
was.
true icon. You know,
Yeah.
when you think about NASCAR, you think of Richard Petty, you think of Dale Earnhardt, you think of Junior. You know,
Yep.
Jeff Gordon, but he is like Dale Earnhardt's like top of that list.
1,000%.
The
People that don't
Intimidator.
even know about NASCAR,
Right.
they know
They
that
knew
name.
him exactly, and that hatred back then, like Jeff
Yeah.
Gordon and Senior and the Rainbow Warrior. Remember when that was not
yeah.
what it is
Yeah.
now? Rainbow
Well, you know,
Warrior.
I've got a Jeff Gordon hood, the hood that he raced at Bristol,
Oh my
hanging on
gosh.
behind all my football helmets.
Do you really?
In my studio.
That's
yeah, yeah.
amazing.
Obviously, she doesn't watch my videos. That's cool though.
Yeah.
You know, that's
No,
fine,
no, I try not to.
yeah.
And here I am.
No,
Just see Papa just keep strolling.
yeah, I thought it was really cool. I got it from Bristol, actually.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it had been sitting underneath their stairwell for years. Every time I would go into the Bristol Media Center, well, it wasn't Media Center. It was like their offices area. But this hood was just sitting. I was like, "Is that a real race used hood?" Because I love sports memorabilia.
Yeah.
You know, especially game used. You know, race
yeah.
used. And they was like, "Yeah," and I got to look, and it's actually got his signature on it, and I've matched it to what year that he actually raced it, and yeah, it's hanging in my pool
that's
house
so
now.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't often get to share this because most people I talk to don't care.
Mhm.
However, I know you'll care. Now, even if you don't, you have to pretend like you
I
do.
will. I'm good at pretending.
My first ever interview was Dale Earnhardt Sr. in Indianapolis, and I was a kid right out of college and didn't grow up around NASCAR. I was an Army kid. We lived, all over the world, but NASCAR
You was a
wasn't
military
thing.
brat too?
I was.
Oh, we got to get.
How long
into
did your
that.
dad serve in the military, real quick?
He was 23 years.
Awesome. Good
Yeah,
for him.
West Point. I mean, we grew up doing push-ups every Saturday morning, and
That's
Yeah.
that whole
awesome.
thing. Yeah.
Go Armies. Beat Navy.
Exactly.
Sink the
Beat
ship.
Navy always.
Yeah.
Thank
yes,
you.
sir. Sing second.
So yeah, I was at the Brickyard practice, and you can only act so well. And I was young, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know what I'm talking about. You can read all you want. Again, like Google, 94, 95. And I asked a couple questions. Then I went up to Senior after, and I said, hey, would you mind? I'm new here, but would you mind if I ask you a couple questions? And he looked at me. He's like, come with me. Put his arm around me. We walked down to his trailer, and for almost an hour, he just welcomed me and my cameraman in and sat and talked about the sport and
That
the
is
cars.
wild.
Literally. That was my
Gosh.
first ever experience. And I don't think at the time I fully appreciated it, even though I knew who he was. I'd studied him a little.
Mhm.
And then certainly as I got more and more into it, I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's the story I always want people to know, people on the outside who stereotype NASCAR.
Mhm.
And certainly it's so much more diverse now than it was then. I mean, you look in the
Yeah.
pits, right? And
Yeah.
people don't know that they go to the NFL Combine to
Yep.
recruit these guys because they're
yeah.
the best athletes, and that's how important it is for those pit
Oh,
stops
yeah.
to be 11 seconds, whatever it is, less.
There's always one crew, and I forget which crew it is, and I'm sure they're going to give me hell for this, but there's always one crew that has me come in and do the prayer with them before the races, and I forget whose crew is that.
How can you forget that?
I don't know. No, it's not either one of those. It'll come to me. Yeah.
It's changed
really
so
cool.
much, and it looks completely different, but that was in 94, 95.
Mhm.
No one else covering NASCAR at the Brickyard that year looked like me, that's for sure.
Mhm.
And Dale took me in. And so I've always fought back based on my experience with being so welcomed at every single track.
Yeah.
And this is how much NASCAR's changed. Talk about the pit crew stuff. Raymond Harris is a man that went to school with my daddy growing up, and I went to school with his kids. Raymond built cabinets in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Raymond was on Dale Earnhardt's pit crew. He would drive up on Thursdays. They would essentially practice on Friday, head to whatever track Friday night, Saturday morning, pit crew on Sunday, and then he'd go work Monday through Thursday.
Wow.
So it wasn't even a full-time job
Yep.
for a lot of guys
Yep.
back in the day. And this was late 80s
Mhm.
and like 90, 91, 92. And then he ended up
Totally
stopping that.
different ball game now.
Now
You know,
it is
they're there working out every day. So I got to go in a couple years ago, and Austin Cindric took me around the whole race facility, right? And at Penske, yeah, it is
Yep.
Penske, yes. Glad I didn't screw that up. But I went back there where they was doing the pit stop training, and they actually use it's a full size. It is a NASCAR, but it's remote controlled and on batteries. Yeah. Somebody drives it in.
stops it and they do the thing. It's wild to watch it. It's so much fun to watch it.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
You know what?
very cool.
The science behind the sport. They're some of the smartest people I've ever met in sports to understand really the science behind it all and the mechanics. And 1 millimeter off, and you're out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's costly. So I'm obsessed with it.
And you have a guy that used to make cabinets, and he got the job because of Bud Moore. Bud Moore lived in our town, and Dale Earnhardt raced for Bud Moore for about 1 or 2 years, and Raymond got the job because him and Bud Moore were friends. And it was essentially like, hey man, you got this weekend off? We need somebody to put gas in the car. And I mean, those pit stops were like 20 seconds.
Exactly.
Now they're 11, 12 seconds.
Yep.
So it's just completely
the whole
different.
sport, like even the drivers, like, there's videos of like Junior Johnson driving around the track smoking a cigarette while he's driving around, Daytona and Talladega. It's wild.
And there was this one driver who was like the Morgan Wallen of NASCAR, and I can't remember his name.
It's Hollywood. What's his name?
What do you mean, the Morgan Wallen of NASCAR?
Oh, he was just this wild guy.
Hollywood.
Oh,
that
behavior. Oh.
Yeah, he was just a wild man.
Oh.
Ended up getting AIDS. He ended up getting AIDS.
Yeah, he died of AIDS.
Wait,
he died of
what
AIDS.
year was this?
This was late 80s.
What's his name?
NASCAR driver that died of AIDS. Andy, come on. You got to be the Jamie for us, buddy.
I mean, his nickname is Hollywood.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's before my time.
I know, it's right on the tip of my tongue, too.
I thought you meant behavior-wise. I'm like, well, that's Tony.
Yeah, Tim Richmond.
Tim Richmond.
Yep.
I was thinking behavior-wise, that's Tony Stewart.
Yeah, Tony's
Like
wild.
that's
Tony's
10
wild,
years
too.
later,
Johnson.
right?
Smoke Johnson. That's the name that he would use when he would go race at like lower circuits to where people
Dirt
would,
Then they
tracking.
wouldn't.
yeah, so they wouldn't know that there's
And
racing.
he did
Tony
that
Stewart.
all
Yeah,
the
he'd
way,
go-
all the way
Smoke
through, right? He
Johnson.
kept going back to that.
which is kind of different from what Siri's always listen. My FBI handlers listen, which is
What?
different reason why Michael Vick used Run Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
You know about this, don't you?
Okay, here we go. We're going from that to Michael Vick.
You know.
Well,
Well,
when he was
the
he was
fake
setting
names.
up his
No. From what I remember, and a couple of the SportsCenter, like the old heads there, will still, when they talk about Mike Vick, they'll refer to him as Run Mexico.
Hotel
But
rooms.
he would check into the he would go get treated for herpes under that name because he didn't want it leaking out that he was going to get treatment.
Allegedly.
Let's add the allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, of
Chuck.
course, I'm almost positive that's how that story goes.
How do you know that?
I don't know. I never checked him out.
Yeah, I don't know if he had herpes
I'm like,
or not.
how exactly do you know?
Sage,
Just saying.
how long have you
This is
lived
where
in
Matt's
Nashville?
like, hold on, you know what? We need to, but back to NASCAR. Yeah, back to NASCAR.
Let's get off of
How
her-
long
herpes.
have you been living in the Nashville area?
Wow. Is this a trick question?
Nope, just asking.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just trying to, it's called a transition. Not a
That's
good one.
Not that
That's
kind of
a
transition.
beautiful segue. I
Yes.
don't trust any of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't fully live here, but I kind of sort of do. Okay. How do I, new husband, how do I describe that? No, it all starts with the hair. Oh, it's true. When I lived in, yes, buckle up. When I lived in Connecticut,
That's got to be the name of your book when you drop it.
buckle up.
When we were talking on the phone the other night,
Yes.
we was talking about it, and you was like, they better buckle up. I was like, that's the name of the book, is Buckle Up.
I should probably end it there because I'd like to add another word on the end. But
Buckle
I'm-
up, bitches. Yeah, baby. We can say that here.
However, my mother would kill me.
No, just tell them Nunley.
It's
did
Nunley's
that.
fault. It's
Yeah.
always Nunley's fault. Okay, 3-4 years ago, this is so bougie. I started flying from Hartford, where I lived. That's where ESPN is outside of Hartford, to Nashville once a month to get my hair done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go in and out the same
Are
day.
you serious?
Yeah, I know, it's so bougie. Here's the problem: when you have curly hair,
You've got beautiful
and
hair. I
thank
gotta
you,
say.
but for TV, do you know I had bosses for years asking me to straighten it, telling I didn't get one big job in particular 25 years ago because the producer was like, yeah, she's good, but we don't like her hair. And I'm
Are
like,
you serious?
can you imagine them saying that now, especially to a woman
No,
of color?
well, I
Yeah,
can't
no.
imagine anybody trying to get you to check. You have got gorgeous
Thank
I'm
you.
sitting there
It
thinking
is
my wife would
ridiculous.
probably be sitting there going, I wish that I had that.
Yeah.
hair," you know what I mean?
No, thank you. But
Yeah.
when you're different, and if you think about TV, local, regional, national, no one had, especially back then, no one had curly. I call it the anchor bob. Everybody, even if they had curly hair, they'd straighten it and they all looked the same and it was the feather and whatever. Well,
Right.
that doesn't happen.
Well, you
with
got to
this.
remember O.J. Simpson trial, right? where she comes in with the perm, and it was the talk of the town.
Oh
Do
yeah,
you not
Marsha Clark.
Yeah, when she
Yeah.
came in with the
The
perm.
prosecutor.
Yeah,
Yes.
Marsha Clark.
Do you not remember that?
Yes.
Where
That's-
she had just straight hair and everything, the whole trial, and then all of a sudden one day she comes in and she's got the perm, and that was all they talked about. And they just kept attacking her because
so
this
funny.
female prosecutor comes
Yeah.
in with curly hair.
Well, and you're
And it's
not
like,
taking...
there's a murderer over here.
Right. That's all
Phenomenal,
they're talking about.
phenomenal running back.
Allegedly.
Horrible.
You got to say allegedly before we get sued.
Well, he's gone, right? So
Well, I think his estate can still sue,
it's
right?
fine.
If we get sued by O.J. Simpson, I'm gonna be kind of proud of that, to be honest with you.
I got a cease and desist from Taylor Swift.
What?
Yeah, over T-shirts and merch and stuff. You know, I did use her signature underneath Dog the Bounty Hunter's likeness.
No big deal.
I thought it was a great
Just
idea.
go for
It's
it.
a great
I mean,
joke.
why
I
stop
just
with
sold
one?
her signature. That was all I did.
You're fine.
Yeah,
That's fine. Yeah. So I'm anyway. Yeah, it's kind of a Nashville resident now. Back and forth between Florida. But I would come to get my hair done because when they screwed up enough, and you still have to go on national TV every day, like I had to find the right person, and the only person that I could find that kept it natural, like, and didn't try to change it up. She's here in Tennessee.
Is she still here?
Yeah,
Do you still see her?
absolutely. She was there
That's
my wedding
awesome.
day and tried to
Really?
fix it. Yeah,
That is
Yeah,
trying
no,
to
she's
fix it.
awesome.
Did y'all get married outside?
we did get married outside.
Yeah, and it's humid.
So see,
It's a
I
wet
love
heat.
that you appreciate what humidity does to
Yeah.
curly hair, but so does South Florida. We got married at Diamond Creek Farm out in Whites Creek, Tennessee, outside of Nashville. Beautiful.
Oh, I thought y'all got married down in South Florida. No, I'm wrong.
No, got married here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because we met there at Diamond Creek Farm at a charity for veterans, Tomahawk Charities,
Mhm.
last November. Like, we haven't even known each other a year, guys.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's quick.
I met my
Well,
wife,
you
and
wifed
2
her up
months later we
quick,
got married.
son.
You did?
Yeah.
He went quick. Did you hear that, babe? 2 months.
I met my wife. 2 months later, we got married. 5 months later, I went to Iraq. And then 23 years later, she still hadn't found a good divorce attorney. So we're going to stick it out, I reckon.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it's not
2
too bad.
months. You
She
were a
saw me-
baby.
Oh, she saw me naked and locked it down. She was like, I got to.
You'll learn this about Matt,
love
Sage, is
it.
that every story ends with Matt being naked.
Yeah.
Naked.
Yes.
Naked?
Every story.
I mean, it's better than it starting.
What, but what? So yeah, how long is this podcast? So it could.
Oh
could
yeah, you
end.
locked in, girl.
It could-
We here.
The doors are locked
No,
over there.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, what I didn't tell you is that, after the podcast ends, we always have the guests stay for an extra 10, 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and we have after hours.
Doing
And
what?
we put
That's
it on
when we get
Patreon.
naked.
That's where we get a little unhinged.
Yeah.
That's when you don't
It's-
have to bleep me out.
Well, no, you're still here. You ain't got fired yet. We'll leave that to ABC.
Not yet. Exactly. They're
Can I say
really
that?
good at that.
Can I
But
say that?
remember, Justin, I didn't get fired.
You didn't?
No.
That's all the reports I read.
Where do you
I'm
get
messing-
your
I'm
news
messing with
from?
you.
I didn't get fired from
Can we
my
talk
last
about-
podcast either,
I don't-
Sage.
So we never did talk about this. Like, how much can we talk about that?
Yes.
Yeah, we can talk about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So I know you from, my first introduction of Sage Steele was on SportsCenter. I think just about everybody has
yeah.
watched SportsCenter at some point, right?
Back when it was
So-
good, especially.
Yeah, I don't watch it anymore.
I
I
don't
really
either.
don't.
Man,
I
It's
stopped watching when I still was on it.
oh, really?
Like, I literally stopped watching years
Because I was a
before.
Dan Patrick just
Well, he was
fanatic.
a genius.
He's
yeah,
so
he
good.
was. He
You
was.
You know where I think SportsCenter kind of just started going when they stopped just replaying the same episode throughout the morning. When it was
yeah.
like
When it was on reruns, you could watch it. I mean, I remember skipping class in college, and I didn't get to watch the late one, but they just rerun it almost until 4 or 5 p.m. the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In college, that's what we all did. You just watch, and then you watch. How many times a day would you watch the same top 10 plays?
when I was at Melps for to go to the military, I flew out of Nashville here. I was at the military entrance processing center, and we sat, and there was a big screen TV. Now this was in 2005, right? So big screen TV,
that was a big deal.
looked like an apartment, and that's what was on TV. And we had to sit there pretty much all day, and I watched the same
Yeah.
SportsCenter, and it was on a Monday. So it was, you at least you got to see the top 10 plays of the week.
Yes.
So, but yeah, no, I think
I hadn't thought of that before, and I actually think you're right. I started there in 2007,
okay.
and then Dan Patrick was just leaving. So I really feel like, yes, that's kind of when it started changing. Stuart Scott was there, and he was
Oh,
he was
Stuart Scott.
Man, national treasure.
He was the best.
Yeah, yeah.
And I get emotional sometimes when I talk about him. He was the first person to really believe in me there, and long before I believed in myself. And I mean, he was my big brother.
Stuart Scott's always been like one of my listen, did you know type facts, you know, with his eye, what happened to his eye.
Yep.
Was at a training camp.
Exactly.
You know, football coming out of the machine. Yeah, Jets training camp. And they had it turned up and he just didn't catch it in time and took it straight to the eye.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, it affected everything he did. And so I only got to host SportsCenter with him one time.
Are you serious?
Just one time. And it was awesome. And I'll never forget him introducing us. And I mean, we were friends and I was so nervous though, because this is the legend. And he's like, welcome to SportsCenter, everybody. S squared and S squared alongside. And I was like, oh, wow. That's awesome. It's true. S squared. And then it went well beyond that with our girls were in the same dance studio. And then when cancer came and stayed, I mean, I just look back and was so honored that he trusted me to be there during some of those dark times in treatment at his home. And honestly, like through all the years, and his two of his three remaining siblings were able to be at my wedding.
Really?
Which just
That's
super
special.
emotional to look out. I was on the altar. Literally, and I look out and I see them there, and I'm like, okay, Stuart definitely would have been there. Stuart was the one that I longed to ask questions of when I was in the process of getting canceled and getting, you know, blown up on TV, and we were very different. He thought very differently from us in this room, but didn't matter. That's how it's supposed to be, right? It didn't matter. He loved me for me. I loved him for him. We could have good, normal conversations and then move on, talk about sports. And so. Yeah, when we lost him, to me that was the end. And he died in January 2015. So it's been 10, almost 11 years, which
Did
is
you see Rich Eisen go back and kind of did a little?
I did.
Yeah, little tip of the hat to him.
Yeah, it's interesting. There were some very unique relationships that Stuart had with a lot of those people. Yeah. So I smile a lot and stay quiet and am grateful that I got to know the human being, not Booyah, who was great. That's nothing compared to, you know. Just
him as a person.
Yeah, and as a father.
Yeah.
Like he was everything as a father.
You're right. As somebody that I love sports more than anything in the world, I don't remember anybody after him as
anything.
Oh, Jesus, here we go. More than anything,
I like more.
I mean, clothed.
Yeah.
While clothes are on, but you could watch SportsCenter naked.
But you can, and I have
mean, I'm
plenty
sure
of
you
times.
did. Yeah.
I was doing it earlier in here, but
no,
remember...
wait, please, you're not allowed to watch it anymore. Didn't we agree on this?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No more.
But I can't. I couldn't name one anchor right now.
I know.
That's the thing. Is like I can't name one anchor right now. Well, whereas I would watch the show and you got Dan Patrick, you got Stuart Scott, you got Keith, even Keith Oberman.
Back
Dan
when
was
he was
awesome
saying,
to watch with Keith and Dan, right?
Right.
And it was like that was a duo that, like, when you saw them that morning, you'd be like, oh man,
absolutely. They were brilliant.
They're the anchors this morning. Like it was going to be great, right? And that's maybe Scott Van Pelt. I mean, that's about the only one that I can really remember to kind of post. But
it's gotten watered down. That's the problem. Because to your point, once they started adding more episodes, so it went from the 1 a.m. Eastern time SportsCenter, and then, or it used to be 11 p.m. And then that's one that would re-air. And then they added 6 to 9 a.m., 9 to 12 noon to 3. Because before it was like whatever it was, midnight till 6 p.m. You didn't have anything. When they started to add all that watered it down. They needed more bodies, more anchors. But the most important thing, I think, is Twitter and social media, because it used to be must-see TV. You had to watch it to get your sports news.
Preach.
Right? And once those phones came out and Twitter came out.
Watching those scores go across the bottom of that screen, and you would miss it.
And then you're like, what? You had to wait.
Was it 25 and 55 after the hour or something like that?
Yeah, 25,
20 and 50. Yeah, and you were waiting, and I had to see if the Cubs won or not.
Exactly.
And if I missed it.
And then you're like, damn it, you got to sit there for another 30 minutes. It's true. And once this happened, I mean, I would be sitting there next to Adam Schefter, who I love, such a good guy, next to Adam Schefter, and he's tweeting the news in the commercial break before we come on TV to announce the news on our network. Like, and they tried to control that for a while, but then they realized
Well,
You gotta
that's
just
what
let them do
I've
it.
been saying for a while. I'm working at the Harley Davidson dealership down there now. I'm, a partner there at the Harley dealership in Fort Walton, Emerald Coast Harley Davidson. Shameless plug. I'll put it in there, But, I was telling Gus when I first came on, he's like, so, well, what is it we're doing? I was like, I'm going to make you your own advertising agency, right? You're not going to need, commercials, radio spots anymore because nobody's consuming that anymore.
Right.
You go back, we've talked about this before, Super Bowl, I'll look around when we had a bunch of people there for the Super Bowl. When the Super Bowl commercials came on, everybody's on their phone scrolling. I'm like, all these companies paid how much money
my
for
gosh.
everybody to scroll on their phones?
Yep.
It's
Crazy.
So, I think like people are scrambling to figure it out, and there's no figuring it out. Like people are on their phones now.
Well, and you just have to transition, and that's why streaming. For a long time when people
Did you
record
say
cutting.
we have to transition?
Oh, I did. I didn't.
was
Can I change that? I didn't exactly
No,
mean.
it. I'm just gonna clip it. Sage Steele
She's
said
woke.
Yeah,
See, she's
have
full
to.
of it.
Wow.
Steve put his head in his hand like, oh no.
No, I'm sorry. It's not what I meant. But they were in denial for a long time when people were cord cutting. Because it's like, they don't, why am I going to pay for my big cable bundle when I can get it right here? And Disney was in denial. I remember being at, big conferences and meetings with Bob Iger and John Skipper, the former president of ESPN before he got in trouble. And they were talking about that. And, no, we're not losing subscribers. And I don't know what it's down to, but they've lost 30, 40 million for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to accept it. And therefore, it's not appointment television anymore.
Well, and I read, rumors the other day. Now, this is not confirmed. I read rumors.
This isn't allegedly?
Yes, but I've seen writing on the wall with SMI that I believe SMI is fixing to sell to NASCAR, and I've been saying this for a couple of years now. And I think they're a couple years late. I think that the leadership at SMI can see the writing on the wall that those TV contracts ain't gonna be as big because nobody's watching TV anymore.
It's
and
so true.
That's where you're getting money from in these sports.
What
like
do you sit down to watch on TV?
Sports, and I have to
football,
find it. I
NFL.
can't find it. I couldn't find the NASCAR race the other day, and it's like on CW or something.
Oh yeah,
like the Miami USF game on Saturday was on
They
CW.
do that
I was like, I don't even know what channel CW is.
Family Matters.
Like
they're playing it on CW.
Miami versus USF was on CW the other day,
Why?
and I'm going, what channel is CW? I didn't even know where it was.
how is that not?
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
But otherwise, only sports. And listen, that's the only reason why, in my opinion, the main reason why I should say ESPN is still ESPN because of their broadcast rights to college football. They crown the champion on college football, right after with the playoff and everything. NBA, they have the broadcast rights to the NBA finals on ESPN and ABC. Otherwise, without the
WWE.
games, you're not going. Yeah, you're not going for news because you have it everywhere else. So SportsCenter is no longer, and I don't know that it's anyone's fault when you look at it that way.
Well, I don't think that that's necessarily the reason that people aren't going to get their news from TV anymore. I think it's most people probably feel about like I do, like just tell me the news. Don't tell me how I need to feel about the news. I've got a brain. I can work that out on my own.
Yeah.
And if I can't, I'm probably not intelligent enough to speak on the matter. Just tell me the news. But no matter what news network, I don't care, you name one, CNN, Fox News, Al Jazeera, whatever, they want to tell you the news. And then you've got a panel of people that tell you exactly how you should feel about that information.
Yep.
I don't need that, and
I agree.
think that's why I just want to read the news. Just tell me
But
the
it
news.
isn't. It's one thing to me. It's almost more okay in news where you have networks that you know which way they lean, so you can choose. With sports, that's everybody's escape. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it used to be. And that's why people have struggled so much with ESPN because they chose specifically in 2016.
Where you can unplug. You unplug and just turn off the serious stuff and let's just watch sports.
Yeah, just tell me about my team. Tell me why they suck. Tell me who's in the
I'm an
lineup
Alabama
for tonight.
fan, so that's not
and the
case.
thing was about sports was growing up in the Deep South, it didn't matter if there's a lot of people that don't like black people or white people or whatever, and it's like on your football team it didn't matter.
Yes.
My grandpa didn't care.
Exactly.
He just wanted the Dolphins to win.
Yes.
He just wanted the South Carolina Gamecocks to win. He didn't care who the running back or the quarterback or whoever was.
He was a
just wanted them
Dolphins fan?
He was a Colts fan. And then because back then, I mean, like the Atlanta Falcons wasn't around or anything like that, so he was a Baltimore Colts fan. And when
Then
Don
when they
Shula went
left.
to the Dolphins, he
Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
became a fan then. That's how my
Yeah.
daddy became a fan.
Oh, wow.
So, but the thing was, like, color didn't matter at that moment.
Right.
It mattered in like everything else in that man's life. But in that moment, when it came to sports, sitting there watching the Cubs play on WGN, it didn't care. I was such an Andre Dawson fan, and Sammy Sosa fan, and all that,
yeah.
and none of that didn't matter.
Mhm.
And it's like, it was the Cubs that the
all that
the
mattered.
uniform's the same color on every single one of those players. That's what
Yes.
mattered.
Mhm.
And
That's
where
why I wanted to be a sportscaster, is because I felt it as a kid. Like, I could see what happened on a football Sunday and how for 3 hours, no matter what stadium you're at, whoever's at home, the Kansas City Chiefs, Miami Dolphins, for 3 hours, you got 80,000 people who are your best friends.
Republicans, Democrats,
Yes.
liberals,
Rich,
conservatives,
poor, whatever.
ever.
Yeah.
And it's the ultimate uniter. That's what sports is,
Oh, 100%.
was,
You can
and
sit-
that's why I wanted to do it. And then
Yep.
to witness it and to be part of it, when it started to turn and they chose to divide, I'm like, no. I used to say to my bosses, what are we doing? Like, even if I agreed with what we're doing, why? Don't you, I mean, Michael Jordan said it, right? Republicans buy sneakers too.
Yep.
Don't you
Yeah.
want everybody to buy your product, to watch your product? And that's where it makes me sad because of what the history of ESPN had been. And this was a concerted effort. It was a choice. It was a decision to take this turn. And then once you lose people, it's really
You
hard
pretty
to
much
get
lose
them
them
back.
forever.
It is.
Yeah.
And then if they have other options, scrolling, whatever else,
Yeah.
why would you get them back? So it's unfortunate.
Does SportsCenter, is it here 10 years from now?
I mean, I'd like to think so because there's so many good memories that I have. Is that pouring rain? What is
I think
that?
so.
Is
Did
that
you
thunder?
roll
Is
your
that
windows
Great
up?
in Nashville. I
It's a
did.
good thing we've
I
got
remembered
power.
too.
Mm.
It's a
Good.
good thing we got power.
Okay,
Did we
don't
tell you
jinx
what-
us.
No,
Do
did we
not
tell you what
jinx
happened
us.
earlier today?
Didn't it all go out?
Oh, we lost
yeah.
power.
Krista
Yeah.
said it all blew up.
Yeah, some dude pressure washing on a bucket truck just ran into the power line.
Oh,
He's okay. Yeah, he good.
as long as he's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because right now the point, like, I know the vast majority of people say to me, who even hosts SportsCenter now?
Yeah, I don't even know.
And so,
When you
are you
said
going to
that,
continue to put?
I got to thinking, I don't know. I have
So, are you
no
going to
clue.
continue to put that much money into it
Mhm.
when your ratings aren't?
when
you
I'm
know?
literally going to open up the app right now, and I've got my teams checked on there. I can see if the Cubs won.
Mm-hmm.
I can see how bad the Dolphins are today, even though it's a Tuesday. They probably lost a game. And, and I think Lenore Sellers is still concussed right now from Carolina. So it's like, I can get everything I need in 3 seconds. I
Yeah.
wake up in the morning, I look at that, I see that Aaron Judge hit another home run, and all right, I'm good.
Well,
I don't even need to
whoever's-
turn on ESPN
I
anymore.
know.
Whoever's running the SEC network kind of has it. Kind of has a good idea because they're kind of running the SEC network a lot like ESPN used to run back in the day. Because SEC football final, it's one show and then they just replay it. You
Yeah.
know, and it's
ESPN
fun to watch
owns-
wake up the next morning and just watch
That's
it again.
ESPN though.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
They own it,
But,
and
yeah.
ACC, and so that's where the real football fans and basketball fans,
Mm-hmm.
SEC, ACC, go, because it's just about your conference, and that is smart. That's
Mm-hmm.
the way. There's never any divisive crap on that for the most part. I mean, I don't sit there and watch it anymore.
Yeah.
I like a lot of the people who host it and the analysts. That's the thing. There are so many good people still at ESPN.
Roman Harper,
Roman Harper, good
Roll
my
man.
wife's
Tide.
neighbor.
Good man. Really?
Yep, screw up with them. She called me up the day he got drafted, and she's pulling into her neighborhood. She goes, "There's cars everywhere here." She goes, "What in the world's going on?" I was like, I don't know. And about 2 minutes into it, it clicked. I said, I'm sitting there watching the draft. I was like, I bet Roman's getting drafted. And he was
Yeah.
the first pick of the second round.
Party.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't
Prattville High School.
You didn't get invited, huh?
No, she went over and said hello, though. I mean, she rode bicycles with him.
How
and his
cool.
brother is actually the talented one in the family, and Roman will tell you that. He went to Troy, and he just didn't make it. But Roman will tell you his brother was the one that
Oh,
probably
really?
should have made it. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think he may have gotten hurt.
I always thought he was so cool looking, the premature gray.
Oh,
Tell
I
you some-
love it.
Well,
Yeah.
let me
Oh,
tell you
yeah.
something. I don't like my wife getting around him. You know what I mean? Because she tells me all the time. She goes, "If I'd have known he'd have grown," because she likes him a little older. And she's
Yeah.
like, "If I'd have known
I
he
didn't
was
think
going
you was gonna say older, brother. I thought
I was like, where's he going with this?
No,
I thought you was gonna say she likes them a little darker.
I was gonna say
That's where I thought
she likes the mocha.
She got a shallow cervix.
Didn't you think the same thing?
I was waiting for it. Then I was like, but what would your dad have said about that?
Yeah.
No.
No, that was Granddad, remember?
Yeah,
That was
yeah, I
Granddaddy.
mean,
Granddaddy.
Yeah,
he gone.
Daddy's covered in the blood,
Let's put it-
so he's accepted. But no, the older Roman's gotten, the more Amy's attracted to him. So I don't like her going to Prattville anymore, or up to Charlotte, because I think that's where he lives.
You know what? Hot take that I do believe that Roman Harper's going to wind up being the head coach at Alabama at some point.
Really?
And I pray he is.
Well, how soon does?
Soon. I
I'm
know.
like,
Kalen's not the guy. Kalen's not the guy. We all know he's not the guy.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Did he ever have a chance to be the guy?
No.
Exactly.
Anybody that steps,
when you go
Ray
in and try to
Perkins
fill those
never
shoes,
had a shot
right?
after Bear Bryant. You know?
Right. It's about. I went to Indiana. So Bob Knight gets fired unceremoniously, and it was crazy and dramatic. And Mike Davis was an assistant on his staff. He ended up taking them to the national championship game. And the very next year, 2 years later,
Hashtag shit can.
no matter what, he was not going to be good enough because you can't fill those shoes.
No.
So I mean, he's
you
getting
definitely
paid.
can't fill those shoes. When your first season, you lose to Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. I'm just saying.
No.
You know.
Well,
And then this year's gotten off to a great
Let's not
start.
talk
here's
about
the,
that,
here's
you
what
know?
here's
I
my
don't
statement. Here's my statement. Did Nick Saban see the writing on the wall and he left for a reason?
Yeah,
'Cause
with
I think-
Absolutely. With NIL.
he saw the NIL, but did he know? Because Steve Spurrier knew that the team he was coaching at Carolina wasn't going to be he didn't have Jadeveon Clowney wasn't walking through that door. Marcus Lattimore wasn't walking through.
Yeah,
Did
but
Nick
no,
Saban, but hold on. Nick Saban knew NIL. He didn't want to deal with all that. But did he look at his team and go,
Well, that plays into it because
Not gonna
NIL, Alabama don't have that old money. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the money that we can sink into that program like some of these other colleges.
Which is
do.
crazy.
Would they
It's
be
crazy to say.
So
Yeah.
would they still be the same team today with Nick Saban
Yes,
than they
it'd
would
be
be
better-
with in the
better.
sense of losing? Like would they
No.
still be losing the games that they lost?
No, I don't think so. You don't lose to Vanderbilt last year, and you don't lose to Oklahoma last year.
Al-
Now, you
Also,
might-
he would have been able to pull all the
Yeah,
money he needed.
yeah.
I mean, I know you say it's newer money and not as deep
Yeah.
in pockets, but it's still Alabama. It's still Nick Saban out in front of them with his hand out.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we'll see where the NIL's going to go, but and I think Oregon
I hate
is
it,
or
but-
the Ducks.
I do too.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
I mean, nothing you can do.
There needs to be a cap on it.
Sure.
You pay the kids for their name, image, and likeness. I'm cool with that, but let's put a cap on it
I
because
also
it's getting out of
I
control.
know it's probably an age thing, and I'm a traditionalist. And when I mean, there's something about team. There's something about loyalty. Something that's how we grew up. And then when you're part of a team, you don't just say peace out if it doesn't go your way, or squeeze out one more year of eligibility. I mean, I know they were leaving early anyway, and the draft and all that. And it's in basketball, obviously, with one and done.
Sage, you know where my mind always goes with this discussion. Whenever you say, I like the tradition, of not paying the college players. I do too, to a certain extent. But then I think of people like Tyrone Prothro, phenomenal player, probably is a Heisman finalist, right? Has an amazing catch. He's gonna go high in the draft and make millions of dollars. The dude is working at a bank down the street from Bryant-Denny Stadium right now because he never made a dime in college football because the NIL hadn't hit yet.
So I'm okay with the in between.
Yeah.
And it's so much more complicated than, hey, just find a middle ground, don't pay him. So when I say traditional,
Yeah.
I mean more about one team and
Right.
not skipping around.
Oh, the transfer portal.
And the
That's what I was
hate
gonna
that.
say.
And then at least you had to think about it, because then you're gonna have to sit out a year.
3 years. You
Right.
gotta if you commit to Bama, you're there for 3 years.
Yes.
If you leave early, there's a penalty for the money that you have taken.
Yes.
And you've got to
some
pay
sort of accountability.
Yes.
And people always brought up the coaches. Well, the coaches can up and go, okay, I know it's different. It
Yeah.
is not apples to apples. So that's what I mean by traditional.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay,
they
I'm
needed to
tracking.
find a way to compensate them, because without that player, without him,
I think making
you don't
the
have that
kids-
team. But it's too much. And look, like, I'm sorry, I'd like to think I could have handled $3 million a year at 20.
Oh,
but
we
probably
blow through
not.
it, girl.
Right. I mean,
couldn't handle $3 at 20. You give me $3
I'd
million.
still blow through it
I
right
know.
now.
I
Shoot, me and Eric would have had a great time.
Hey, we
In the early
finding that
2000s.
cocaine. You
well,
know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
I mean, based on our prior conversation,
It would have been a woo.
why is he not making eye contact right now?
Yeah,
I mean-
why did we not? Why did you not ask that question on camera? That was, and we're just
We
gonna
can ask
tease
it. Actually,
Yeah.
That's
Go
how I
ahead.
found out I had a peanut allergy.
What?
Doing cocaine out of a stripper's butthole.
What did you just say? What?
I'm telling you, man. Topeka, Kansas.
I don't believe I said that.
2006.
Shut up.
Wound up in a hospital, swollen up.
Stop.
They
shut
had no
up.
idea I had peanut allergy till
That
that night.
visual right now is ruining my day.
Yeah.
Say it again.
You liked it, didn't you?
He said you liked it, didn't you?
Like, wait a minute. No,
Yep.
So back to ESPN.
no, how do you? That's not a segue. That is not smooth. That
What,
is
what,
not-
what's
that-
to say? Well, help me out here.
How do you go from doing cocaine out of a
Okay,
stripper's
yeah. So last time I seen cocaine on a stripper's ass was in Connecticut. Talking about Connecticut.
I was in Bristol, Connecticut.
Bristol, Connecticut. Yes.
But I was on
SportsCenter
I was on the
studio.
WWE side. They really do it.
I love that Sage is like,
God.
that's not a segue. Like, what are you doing with
Like,
your
what,
life right
what-
now?
What is happening?
Yeah.
All right, here's the say. So you're
Okay,
here in
go.
Nashville. Are you even a country music fan?
Yes,
Really?
I am.
You
Yeah.
listen to country music?
What?
What?
I mean, yes. Who doesn't love country music?
Okay.
By the way, on the way in, Angel Eyes. Have you heard that song?
No.
I feel like. What do you mean?
You heard of them?
No.
Angel, the song Angel Eyes?
Love and
By-
Theft. I mean, not everybody
and
knows
who?
about them.
I think they
Theft.
were a thing back in the day.
I am
How long ago?
obsessed. Obsessed. So,
So
yes,
you like
no, I'm like
you
real
like
deal
classic
country.
country.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Was you listening to
Obviously.
WSM?
I'm just saying. Love me some
job,
country
Sage.
Good job,
music.
Great job,
Sage.
Sage.
Good delivery. That's professional.
That's how you do. No, I'm kidding. Hi, Eric.
We've got Eric, one half of Love and Theft over here.
I'm obsessed, Eric.
We have been
Can
we
can
have
we
been
take a-
petitioning Eric to put a camera on himself because
Can we-
every episode, and you need to get a mic over there.
Can
'cause
we?
every
I know.
episode-
Can we take a selfie when we're done?
You didn't see that one coming, did you?
When I came around the curtain earlier and I saw you quietly talking, I figured
We're talking about him.
Oh.
We were talking about him. Oh my God.
And then I
No.
was not couth about, hey, our coffee's here. Come with me.
Eric, get up and walk with me to help me carry this
Upset.
one cup of coffee.
Hey, we'll be back to the podcast in just a minute. But first, let me give a big shout out to Merit Productions. They edit all of our podcasts, and they do a great job doing it. Now back to the podcast.
That is smooth. Oh, okay. Come hither. I played actually our two songs at our wedding. We had like a private first dance, and then we had the first dance, and both were country songs.
What were they?
Charlie Pride and Darius Rucker.
They
I do like some Charlie Pride. I ain't gonna lie.
Look at him.
Do you know the story about Willie Nelson kissing Charlie Pride on the lips in front of like a bunch of people back in the day?
We've already talked about cocaine on like butt cracks, so go ahead.
No, I mean, this is not even a joke. Like,
I'm so afraid. I don't trust
a
you
lot
guys.
of people in the audience started booing Charlie Pride because he came on as a black man singing country music, and Willie came out there to show, his support of Charlie Pride, kissed him on the lips in front of everybody,
On the
and
mouth.
said, "Yeah, on the mouth."
Charlie.
Now, I'm sure Willie was just stoned out of his mind.
Okay.
But that's the story. Will you look that up? Is
I
that a
don't-
true story?
yeah.
Or am I
See, all I can
misremembering?
think is like,
Andy, I don't-
the way Charlie was. If he just turned around and said, "Man, I'm black. I ain't gay." You ain't gotta kiss me. Like just your support would have been great.
Yeah.
I didn't need a kiss.
You don't need to take it that far. Come on, Andy. What were the songs? Well, Morgan Wallen was the private dance song.
He did.
He
Yeah.
did?
Well, yeah. So,
Really?
yeah, suck it. I know what's up.
I
So
want to
you had
see
Morgan. You did Morgan Wallen.
it. Yes. For our private
Okay.
The
first
chair.
dance.
Oh no, that was George Strait.
Yeah.
That was a joke about the bar incident, by the way. But go ahead. I'll let you go. Yeah.
Right?
And the public one. Which one was that?
The dance. Spin you round and round the dance floor. Get you drunk on a
Who
love
sings
lifeline.
that?
I know it's not very good.
Morgan Wallen
That's
sings
the
that
Morgan
one?
Wallen. Spin you around. And then the public one was actually.
Did y'all do the new one? Because he re-recorded it. He was up in so Morgan was deer hunting, right? Last year before. I think it was last year. He was deer hunting, and the song hit him in his head, and he started going through it in his head. He was like, "We didn't record that song right." And it bothered him so much, he got out of the deer stand and went straight to the studio and re-recorded that song. So there's 2 versions of that song.
Of that song?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you probably, you know, you'd have to go look at your list, but I would almost imagine that you use the 2024 version, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The older one's good too, but the
Oh.
new one, like, it's
No,
just
it's the
more.
new-
It's just got more crisp
I
to it.
love it, and I love him and the lyrics, and that's what brought me into country music is the lyrics and the storytelling, which is underappreciated anywhere else outside of country music. But it's real music with voices and instruments and a story that you can. So I know it's cliche, but
3 chords in the truth, baby.
it's beautiful.
damn country music, Sage.
It is. I mean, bluegrass, like it is.
Oh, I love bluegrass.
Beautiful music. The public first dance was Kane Brown, thank God, and with his wife.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna sing, but thank God I get to wake up by your side. Like, just yeah. See, you're making me all sappy. I know this is what you guys
is such
wanted.
a good dude. I've never been around Morgan.
I
Kane,
only met Kane actually the same race I met you.
Yeah, I met Kane
was
too.
there.
Yeah, he came
Yeah.
up to me. He was like,
And
"What
of course,
up,
I went
Nunley?"
over and I was like, "Hi, biracial black man. Nice to meet you. We're related, I'm sure." And he looked at me and he's like, "I don't have time for you. What are you doing?" But I fangirled a little bit.
Yeah,
It didn't go over so well.
Yeah, Kane's a good dude.
Morgan's
he's
great too.
kind.
I've been playing a golf tournament with him every year, and he's nice as he can be. And he hangs out here all the time on the back porch. Has he been here? Has he been here lately, Eric? Not lately, yeah. But he hangs out here on the back porch. Yeah, things like that, you know.
I
And
have not.
probation.
I have
You
not
can't
seen him in
forget about
concert
probation.
ever.
Oh,
You know.
here's the thing.
I would die to see him in
So
concert.
a little plug for losers over here, and we're inside of Riley Green's Duck Blind. Is in the back parking lot over here. They'll shut down this parking lot and they'll set up a stage a couple times a year. And I mean, Eric, they've had Morgan Wallen play back there, Riley Green, Kid Rock.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
yeah, Ernest.
Oh, I
mean,
love Ernest.
Hardy's probably played back there. I'm just going to name some people off, and they've played back there. I mean, Randy Hauser. Everybody's played back here.
But it's all impromptu. You have to be here. It
Oh yeah,
doesn't
I mean,
just-
they'll
it's
do.
not like
I mean, Gavin Adcock just did a
someone
pop-up
text
show.
me.
Gavin Adcock just did a pop-up show, just next door, upstairs. So
we were talking about him last night.
yeah. It's
Wow.
so it's fun over here. So
I know
that's
what
where
y'all
I'm
were
gonna
talking about.
I'm gonna introduce you. I'm gonna
about.
introduce you to Steve, so you have access to the back porch. So
That'd be
concerts
amazing.
like that, you can sit there in the VIP area
I
and
would
not have
die.
to. Yeah,
Die.
yeah, he'll
die.
take care of you.
I don't. I mean, not living here until now, like you hear about it, but you don't fully get it, and the access just to good quality music.
So did you
and
see
people.
Peyton Manning doing karaoke a couple of months ago on stage?
That was here. That was for the tight ends thing, wasn't it?
No, it was BMI Awards. After the
TEU?
BMI Awards,
Oh.
he did karaoke at Losers right here, connected
Is
to.
that where it was?
Yes.
Right here. Oh my
and
gosh.
it was Luke Bryan was right there with him. He was here with Luke and Post
Of course.
Malone and Kid Rock and all were all here that
God, I
night.
would die.
Yeah, Luke
I
Combs and
swear.
everybody. It was fun. And Peyton Manning got up on stage, started doing karaoke, and
He is,
Yeah.
okay. So here's Peyton Manning story. Since you guys like sports, my final year in Indianapolis was '98, the year they drafted him. So I was covering the Colts when they were going back and forth. Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf, Peyton Manning. I know. And then was there on like the day after the draft, after they picked him, and walked him in. And I was a young reporter, and he's walking through, and the head of PR brought him over to me. I worked at the local CBS affiliate, and he's like, "Hey, this is Sage Steele. She's one of the local reporters." And he looked at me, he's like, "What was your name?" "Sage. So nice to meet you. I can't wait to work with you." And I was like, this is not normal. This is not what athletes usually say when they come in. They're like, stay away from the media. And obviously well-trained the way he was raised, etc. But that was my introduction to Peyton Manning, was when he was coming in as a kid out of UT, and just such a consummate pro through the years, and then got to do some events with him. It was always hysterical because I would be the MC, and then he would come up to do, a massive part of the show. Not many athletes can do what he does. Obviously, hosting the ESPYs, he's just so
Phenomenal.
talented. And he's also a control freak. And he'll admit it. Everybody talks about it because, he wants to know every detail of the show, even parts that he's not involved with.
Really?
And so he came up and he's like, "Okay, what are you going to ask me here, here, and here?" And I was like, I hadn't prepared. Like, I will wing it a lot because I feel like it's more natural. The crowd, the audience, the viewers feel it when it's scripted.
and you play off of them, and you play off the audience a little bit,
100%. And so he's like, "No, I just need to know." And I was like, "Okay." And I thought of something and told him. And then by the time I got to him 2 hours later, I didn't even remember what I had told him I was going to ask. So I asked the question and he kind of looked at me. He's like, I know he's thinking like,
Yep.
that's not what you said. But I mean, he crushed it because he's
Yeah.
Peyton.
Yeah.
He's so talented, but it goes back to that preparation and why he was as great as he was. I mean, he controlled every aspect of that locker room. Like, I don't care if you're the third string wide receiver, you weren't going to talk about certain things if Peyton hadn't approved it.
Mm-hmm.
He was in charge of the communications departments and the PR departments for the most part. I mean, I
That's
don't mean
awesome.
in charge, but he dictated the tone of that locker room year round, not just during the season. So it was incredible to watch someone that was such a consummate pro, but didn't come off as a jerk, you know?
You know, one of the craziest things in sports history that I've always thought that they could make a movie out of it was the fact that the Tennessee Volunteers won a national championship the year after Peyton Manning left. T. Martin won that national championship, and it wasn't Peyton Manning, which is wild to
It's
me.
crazy.
Here's a crazier stat, my friend, of Peyton Manning.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Manning became the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Volunteers in his freshman year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
From that time until he got hurt when he was in Indianapolis, he started every single football game that he ever suited up for. He was the starter on the football team. Okay?
From freshman year
But
through the neck injury.
he was not the starting quarterback for Tennessee Volunteers that first game of his freshman year. Who's the only quarterback when Peyton Manning was healthy to start a
Is it a
football
big
game?
name?
He's in the Hall of Fame, but for a different sport.
This
Give me a
is a
second.
hell of a trivia question.
Nope, not Heath Schuler.
A different sport.
You know, Navy Schuler plays at Tennessee now. Heath's son. Yeah, he's
Oh, wow.
me and him are mutuals on Instagram. I thought
Really?
that's crazy. Yeah.
So who's the starting quarterback?
It's a baseball
was
player. It has to be a baseball player,
It's
right?
a basketball player.
You think it's basketball?
Todd
Helton.
Helton.
Todd Helton.
Yeah.
Really? Are
Oh,
you serious?
Wow. Those baseball players are some of the best athletes. They choose baseball.
We were talking about it earlier.
It's crazy.
One of the stats that I read the other day, and I love Barry Bonds stats and Tony Gwynn stats and
Yeah.
Greg Mace's. Barry Bonds, from 2001 until the day he retired, had 1,480 something walks, and had also in that same time period 680 something times where he swung a bat and did not make contact with the baseball.
My gosh, that's amazing. That is amazing. Well, and baseball to me is again underappreciated as far as difficulty. That
Oh yeah.
bat, ball, contact.
Do you think it's the hardest thing to do is to hit a baseball from a Major League Baseball player?
Yes, and golf. I mean, to be able to control, to be able to do it at a high
I
level.
watched John Daly get hammered drunk and play
Okay.
barefoot and shoot a 70
Okay.
on a Tuesday and smoke 17 packs of cigarettes. And I feel like if he could do it, we could probably
I
figure it
believe
out.
he was a freak of nature in many
Yes.
ways.
Eric's played with him.
He's a freak of nature.
He's a freak of nature,
Yeah.
yes.
I play with a lot of pro golfers, and he's by far has
He's insane.
just an insane amount of just natural ability.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
of that God-given. I mean, to go to another level, I think so. Although I also think as a quarterback, there's never a full appreciation for all that goes on and those split-second decisions and changing plays,
I couldn't
adjusting
do
to
it.
those defenses and that much time, communicating it to your line and everybody else and making, I mean, that's
And to have an accurate pass, I say in the NFL,
Yeah.
the ball has to be put inside of a 12 by 12 square
mhm.
Yeah. And when I was
with a moving target.
when I was the quarterback for
and,
the
and then everybody
Packlet
trying to kill you.
when I was the
Yeah.
quarterback for the Packlet Indians middle school football team, number 13, it was Jermaine Draper, man, shout out, brother. He made some big catches for me. He was the Mark Duper of Packlet, South Carolina. I
You
appreciate
got your
it.
baseball stats, and I got mine. Listen, did you know
Listen,
that the
my
pitcher
favorite.
of Major League Baseball history that has the most Cy Youngs never pitched a no hitter, and the pitcher with the most no hitters never won a Cy Young?
Okay.
That is wild. Do you
Go
know the
ahead.
two pitchers?
Well, Nolan
Okay, yeah.
And Cy Young.
No, he didn't win his own award.
and
They
Roger
named it after
Clemens.
him. Yep.
Roger Clemens.
Yeah,
and Nolan
Roger
Ryan.
Clemens never pitched a no hitter, but won the most Cy Youngs.
Are you trying to stump me?
I was, yeah.
So I tell you what,
I'm
here's
trying.
here's one
Todd
of those
Helton, that was a good one.
That was a good
That's
one.
a-
I would have never.
one of the moments
Is that an Affleck question?
where you're
Did you get that off CBS, brother?
where you're sitting there with Dale Earnhardt. I got to have breakfast with Pete Rose, and
Did you?
we're talking baseball. And of course, everybody at the table, they don't. And he's like, He's like, who's the best third baseman ever? And I was like, man, but I love Brooks Robinson. I said, I thought, 16-time gold glove winner and stuff. And he goes, but he couldn't hit the ball if it was tied to his bat. And I said, well, and he goes, what other Hall of Famer has never been able to hit a ball like that? Or hit a ball and still got in the Hall of Fame? I said, Ozzie Smith. And he looked at me and he goes,
wizard.
He looked at me and he goes, Matt, we can sit here and talk baseball. At that moment, I went,
oh, that's
life's complete.
Say, I can die now.
I die now. Pete Rose just gave me after, and we sat there for 2 hours. Got done eating breakfast, and he just turned his chair. And I'm sitting at a table with 10 other people. They don't exist.
That's amazing.
He and I just sit there and talk sports.
That is amazing.
And I was
but
like, this is the best day of my life.
I think, and so to your point about, okay, different positions, what's the hardest? Baseball history, to me, is probably the most impressive. And when you can go deep on baseball, I'm a Cubs fan as well. When you can go deep on baseball, it is another level, but very few people can. And so for you to impress him, and then he's like, okay, let's get comfortable.
I know.
That is so
It was
cool.
the coolest moment. It was the coolest moment.
Wow.
And I was like, this is insane. I can't believe this moment's happening. As a kid who,
for sure.
Just sat on the floor of that trailer watching that little TV and every game that I could or whatever. And that was baseball cards and everything else is all I had. It was just the best moment.
Do you have a picture? Was there?
Oh, I've got a picture of me and him. I've got a picture of all of us at the table. I've got video content that we can never use, but I will say one thing that he told me now that he's passed on and he's with the Lord. He told me, he said, well, Greg Maddux took steroids. I said, Pete, Greg Maddux didn't take steroids. I said, Greg Maddux looks like my uncle. And I go, he didn't take steroids. He didn't do an 83-mile-an-hour fastball. He goes, any man that can move it could move a pitch like that, he's on something. And I was like, I don't know about that, Pete.
I can't think of Pete Rose the same anymore. I don't think of him as, whenever you mention Pete Rose, I don't think of a baseball player. I think of the visual in my head is him getting tombstoned by Kane.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
That's all I can think about.
It ruined it for you.
It's like cartoonish,
so
him getting tombstoned.
Here's where you go, when you go and you get with the other professional athletes. So I'm real good friends with Karl Malone. And I'm at Karl's house.
Oh, my gosh. Please tell him hello. It's been a long time.
Karl's amazing,
He was
right?
wonderful.
I love him to death.
I fished with Karl Malone one time.
Of course, you have to.
No, but it was off of the top roof of an 18-wheeler.
Sounds like Karl.
Into a fake pond, but we were fishing at Disney. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, so Karl's one of my favorites. Still has a flip phone. His wife, Miss Kay, you have to call her to get a hold of Karl.
I just like listening to him talk. That's all.
He's the best. You go in his house, though, and he's got this man cave that's unbelievable, sitting there smoking cigars and everything. He's got 2 jerseys that aren't his, and they're in his hallway before you even get into his man cave. And it's Dan Marino and Pete Rose, and I'm a huge Dolphins fan.
Oh, wow.
And he told me, he said, these 2 men right here were the best in their sport, in my opinion.
Wow.
And it's like when you've got this guy who at the time was number 2 leading scorer of all time, now number 3, is saying these 2 guys, like they see things a little bit different than me, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, okay. And
well, and by the way, what a beautiful example once again of what it used to be like. I mean, we sound like the old man, get off my lawn, and I had to walk uphill to school 3 times.
I
back
love
in
doing
the day.
that now. I love screaming at kids now. It's one of my favorite things.
Exactly. Or I just trip them, like same thing. But to think about what those 2, Stockton and Malone, did, sacrifice to stay together, what they chose to do with Sloan, and I mean, it was a different era. And so I compare it now to this NBA and even the NBA over the last 10 years and how many different teams are people jumping around to. And, Kevin Durant is one of the all-time greatest talents, but you can't even count how many teams he's been on now.
Yeah.
So that's the sad thing, is because all those rivalries, they just keep rotating because the guys don't stay in the same place. So how lucky are we that we got to witness that generation
those
of it?
90s.
Yeah. Although I do feel like I got super lucky because I was just NBA from 2012 through 19. And then COVID hit. So that's when I stopped. I mean, I had gone back to just SportsCenter at that point, but I got to witness up close and personal that Stephen Curry, the Warriors, Cavs back and forth, which was phenomenal. And, LeBron, Kyrie, as much as there was a lot of that, they wouldn't have won in 2016 without Kyrie, not LeBron, Kyrie. But to see Stephen up close, to the human being that he is, and Clay and Draymond, like it was just such a cool time as far as the quality of basketball.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's second to, in my mind, like late 80s, Detroit Pistons, Bad Boys, all the way through the Jordan era, where they literally wanted to kill each other. Like I'm sorry, is it wrong that I loved that?
There's going to be elbows flying during those
how
games.
how does players today fare against Bill Laimbeer? And I'm just going to put Bill Laimbeer sitting there.
Well, he would win 10 out of 10, you know.
Well, they're going to be looking for that foul and ain't getting it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like
that's the
that
thing.
whistle ain't coming.
They let him go. They let him play.
Yeah, they let him play.
I do think it's so hard to compare eras. I mean, physically, that's my era.
Basketball is
so
actually the hardest to compare eras.
I do agree, especially because, I mean, look at all the rules changes.
Yeah.
And the three-pointer was nothing, non-existent, and then nothing, not nearly the focus. And now sometimes it's too much the focus. It is the Stephen Curry effect where then you have everybody in fourth grade. They don't have the fundamentals to make a layup, you know, or passing wise. Yeah, because then that's the celebration, and then they're doing all their.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I always will say Jordan is the man. When people go Jordan versus LeBron, I'm like, just stop. Like, can we please just stop? Doesn't mean that LeBron isn't incredibly talented and one of the top, better be in everybody's top 5. Give me a break, right?
Yeah.
But that mentality and the mentality of making sure if you're on this team, you're going to be right here with me or get the F out. Like that was Jordan. And I think that almost anger that was in him from day one, from being, I mean, how about his Hall of Fame speech?
Yeah.
I mean, he's still pissed at his high school coach,
love it.
you know?
I love it.
But that doesn't exist anymore.
No, and I sat there, going back to Karl for a minute, sitting in his man cave, smoking cigars, some rum, maybe a little bit of moonshine. It was a good night.
You remember all of it?
I remember every bit of it. It was one of those moments where I said, Lord, don't let my memory slip on this one. I want to soak it all in. And he's sitting on the end of the couch. I'm sitting in a chair like this. I had a Diet Coke in my hand, and I'm looking around where to set the Diet Coke. And he goes, just sit right there on the end table. And I'm pushing back an All-Pro trophy. Pushing it back. Miss K comes in there and moves one of his MVP trophies off his desk to put a platter of cheese and like little sliced meats and stuff.
It's not like in a
charcuterie
board.
Charcuterie
board is what it's called. Fancy bullet thing. Yeah. And then we're smoking cigars, and he goes, and he looked at me and he goes, and he just fell in love with me immediately. There's about 5 or 6 of us sitting there, and he said, Lyda, where are you gonna ash that cigar? And I'm looking around, I was like, oh, man, there ain't no ashtrays. And he just leaned over and he ashed in this Boys and Girls Club thing that he did, where he has like his hand into this like concrete thing, and he ashed into that. And I was like, all right then. And he goes, I ain't got no ashtray. It's the best looking thing here. So, but we sat there and he looked at me and he goes, man, he said, I don't like talking basketball. He goes, I know you're a sports fan. He said, ask me the question you want.
Oh, cool.
And I said, Karl, I just want to talk about the dream team. He said, before we do, he said, I'm going to show you something. Me and him get up and we go out and we go into his safe room, and he opens up the safe and he pulls out his 2 medals.
Wow.
He put them on me. He said, you can take a picture. You cannot post it on social media. I said, yes, sir. And I took a picture with him with that. And then we went back in and he sat down and he talked about that. And then he talked about losing to Jordan that second time and what it taught him, the lesson that it taught him in life. And for probably almost an hour, it was just me and him sitting there talking about that. And it was just another one of those moments, pinch me
unbelievable
moments. You know?
You've seen a lot. That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, God's blessed me. And I don't know. There's moments where I sit there and I go, wait a second, I ain't supposed to be in here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, you know what? But that's awesome that you are aware enough to feel that. That happened to me. Mm-hmm. This sounds obnoxious, but like, I'm grateful. I think it's an age thing too. And when you experience enough, it happened to me at the 2016 NBA Finals. And then one other time, during this last election cycle, where I'm like, oh my goodness. But in 2016, it was the first game of LeBron, maybe it was 15, I can't remember, in Cleveland after coming from Miami. Mm-hmm. And their first home game. So it was game 3 of the finals. The first 2 games were at Golden State. And we're 90 seconds out, about to go live. And this is on ABC. So, you know, with across the pond and everything, there's a good 20 plus million viewers, at the time. That was the guesstimate. And, you know, no teleprompter. And I just have my notes. And I always have an idea in my head of what I'm going to say to start it off. And the music comes on. And 90 seconds out, my mind went blank. And I was like I forgot everything that I prepared. And I looked at my notes and nothing was coming back. And my heart rate I started to go crazy. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I just took a deep breath. And I said a prayer. And I'm like, Lord, just please let whatever comes out of my mouth be smart and make sense. But I just had to breathe and pray. And at that moment, when I opened my eyes, I'm about 30 seconds out, I looked around and I went, look where I get to be, right here in front of 18,000 people in the arena. I couldn't even hear myself think. It was so crazy and wild and loud and beautiful. And I went back to being that little 11-year-old girl that had told my parents that when I grew up, I wanted to be a sportscaster. And girls in the 80s didn't do that. And especially girls that looked like me. And it all came back to me at that moment when I went from fear, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to say, to peace, and that I get to do this.
I
And
have
it
so
was
much joy in me right now
such
listening
a
to this.
blessing.
Okay,
But
I'm so happy.
but like the fear went away, but it was such a blessing. And then 5 seconds out, and they're counting you down. That's the thing. Ready or not. Like
You go
you
live,
better say not, and you don't get 2 extra seconds to, gather your thoughts. You go now or you don't have a job. And so I look back at that moment and I'm so glad that I could smell the roses and look around and then go do my thing. And it was, the analysts were Jalen Rose, Doug Collins, and then Dwayne Wade was our guest analyst for that series, because who knew LeBron better at that moment. So that was amazing. And then real quick, the second story, and I'm sorry, it reminded me, I love that you appreciated in that moment.
Oh, I love those
It
moments.
was the Monday before this past election. And I somehow ended up on the campaign trail with Donald Trump, not with Donald Trump, the weeks leading up to it. But then that day I was with Tulsi Gabbard in North Carolina, Asheville, and going around Buncombe County after the hurricane, just to talk to people, and with Tulsi and Danica Patrick, and to hug people and to listen.
Yeah.
And it changed me. And then we went to 6 different stops in Buncombe County that day, and then got on a plane to Pittsburgh, where his second to last rally was. That's where Megyn Kelly got on stage and spoke, and that's when it was announced that Joe Rogan has endorsed President Trump, and everybody went crazy. And then from there, I went on Trump Force One to the very last stop, which was Grand Rapids, Michigan. All 3 campaigns, that's President Trump's last stop is Grand Rapids. He's very superstitious. And we're sitting there, and he didn't even start speaking until 12:45 in the morning. Packed house, kids asleep, everybody waited. It was deafening. And then we got back on the plane and headed back from Grand Rapids to Palm Beach. And we landed in Palm Beach on Trump Force One at 5:45 in the morning on election morning. Halfway through that flight, someone said, "Come on up." And that little 4-top table from that plane? If you remember, right after the election, there was that famous picture of Trump and Jr. and RFK and Elon Musk. And they were sitting there eating that at McDonald's. Remember, everybody was mocking them for that shot. I sat for 2 hours in the chair right across from President Trump on the flight back to Palm Beach on election morning. And I had that moment where I almost got choked up, thinking, how on God's green earth am I in this seat at this moment in history too? Tulsi Gabbard was right over there. She was, we're all trying to sleep, and the Secret Service, even one of them came up and they're like, would you tell him to go to sleep? Because no one's going to sleep unless he's sleeping. And he had his iPad out and he's DJing, and the volume's on 12 out of 10. I mean, this man is nonstop eating Cheetos, and my eyes were crossing, but I'm like, stay awake, stay awake. We don't often get those moments, right? With Karl Malone, sports, politics, where I knew that no matter what happened in that election, like, what a blessing to
I
get
had
to
that same
witness
moment.
it.
So one of my biggest regrets was I interviewed Donald Trump on October 18th, and we get done with the interview at Trump Tower on 5th Avenue.
In New York, yep.
And he looked at all of us. We spent 58 minutes on the interview. We were supposed to have 28. And then he spent another 20-something minutes with us. And before he left, he goes, "Hey, does anybody want to go to Michigan?" He said, "That's where we're headed." He said, "We're coming back here tonight." And
Why?
And I said,
you?
and we all said, we said no. And I regret to this day.
Why did you say no?
Well, I was doing the interview with The Undertaker. He wasn't asking me. He was asking The Undertaker. If The Undertaker would have said yes, I would have said yes. But at that moment, if he said no and I went, I do. I don't know if Trump wanted Matt Lyda on the plane. I was the tag along with Taker. But
same thing. I'm sure he wasn't like Sage Steele. She's going to be the difference maker.
I got a hell of a grip on a coattail, let me tell you.
That's a skill. That's a talent.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, you never know where life brings you, and saying yes to things had you there. Saying no to things had us at a lot of places too that are so special.
And look where it's ended up with me now.
And now look, yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
Scraping
cool.
the bottom of the
But
barrel, brother.
No, but like the fact that I get to have really cool, memorable conversations with anyone I want now. Are you kidding me? I had to ask to breathe. Like,
Yeah.
and so without certain things leading up, you know, whatever your journey is, it leads to that. And I'm so grateful for all of it, you know?
Well, I for one am very proud of you. You know, we've known each other for a couple years now, and I told you that in the green room at Nashville. You was standing there, you know, you wasn't alone, but you was in the moment. You know, we was sitting over there, and the food was out and everything, and you were over there by yourself. And I walked over there and I said, "Hey, you probably don't know me, right? But I just want to let you know I'm proud of you. You know, for everything that you've accomplished. Super proud of you." You know,
That meant so much to me, though, because everybody goes through their stuff, some publicly, some not. And for a long time, I remember walking through airports, not making eye contact with people, like head down, scared that what people said online is what they were going to say to my face, scared that I was hated, embarrassed for speaking up. Oh my gosh, just stay quiet. This is why people say don't talk. Like I was experiencing all those things. And to hear you say that, and I felt a lot of love at that race that day. I was still at ESPN. This is July of 23 or 22. So
you was in the heat of it.
But I was in the heat of it,
Yeah.
and I had been suspended, and I was so scared. But I realized that when I got silent and stopped speaking, because I needed to keep my job at that point, people were disappointed in me because they realized, you know, that we got to speak up. We have to support each other together. And then if you do it, maybe someone else will have the courage to do it as well. So
Well, here's the thing, Sage. Me and you could sit here and we could talk about every deep discussion and every hot button topic, and I guarantee you we're not going to agree on everything.
Right.
You know, and that's okay. You know, and we can have disagreements as people. You know, in the political realm, you know, sports realm, you know, and everything, and that's okay. That's part of the human experience that we have. Is we can all disagree, but you know, a lot, you know, there's a you know, growing in this country of, you know, if you have a disagreement, you are my enemy. I don't buy into that.
No.
You know, I believe that we are all, you know, we are all Americans. You know, we're a dysfunctional family. You know what I'm saying? But we're still family. You know, we're still locked into this human American experience together. And what I'm most proud of you for is that you just stand on business. You're unapologetically yourself. And I tell you, in today's age, that is not a common trait that people have. And I think you're probably one of the bravest women that I know.
Oh my gosh.
You know, so keep being unapologetically
you.
right, wrong, or indifferent. Be yourself. You know.
I thank you again, and I have found that it's easier to just let go and be yourself. It's so much easier. And what I also realized is that I was never alone. I thought I was, because they make you feel that way. They're very good at that. They, you know, the world, employers, social media, certainly. But there are so many more people who just respect you for being you, even if they don't agree with you. And I tell my kids this, and my kids are old enough now where they've experienced a lot of it too. And they have struggled with some of my, you know, public comments, and certainly some of the fallout that came from it and with my former employer. But they're 23, 21, and 19. And if I'm preaching to them to be true to themselves and to stand up and to not be quiet, but then I'm sitting there mouth closed to get my paycheck. I did that for a long time. And sometimes we have to make that decision, because when you have a family, you know, you have to support them somehow, some way. Certainly everything changed with COVID, and that's how my controversy began, with that being forced to take that shot. But it changed me.
I was forced to take it. You know, I just retired military, and had I not, you know, had I refused to take the shot, I wouldn't be retired right now.
Exactly.
You know. So it's just...
So we all have these decisions and choices to make, and they're not all going to be easy. But if I'm preaching to my kids to stand up and stand tall, and don't you let them, and then I'm not doing it, then I'm a hypocrite.
I agree.
And that's the point that I got to. But what has come from being vulnerable and telling your story, like all of it. There's so much good, by the way, but some of the crap too. it's such a gift to others. So when I was keeping it all in because I was embarrassed and fearful, I was taking away the opportunity to share and maybe allow someone else to feel like they're not alone, and then maybe they stand up, and that's how it happens. That's what's happening right now with what happened to Charlie Kirk and the disgusting act and then the vile reaction by way too many. So now people are like, you know what, this is what we got to by me staying silent. Hell no more, even if we disagree, because like you said, we agree on a lot of things, but probably not.
The silent majority is tired of being silent.
And it's fascinating, yes, to see that with that exhaustion from it, with the sadness, with all of it that comes with what has happened and what happened to President Trump last summer when they tried to kill him, you know, we are not rioting. We're not burning down cities. We're not doing what they are doing. And I'm going to say what they are doing, we're not. I'm proud of that. There's still a lot of things that we can all do better. But this, to me, is the time. Like, we cannot afford any longer for people to stay silent because it's safer. It's convenient. Look what that did. And now I think, you know, they used this back 5 years ago during all of the drama. Silence is compliance. That's what it is now. So pick and choose. Doesn't mean we got to blow up everything, you know, and have an opinion about everything. Remember that everybody's opinions are based on their experiences.
Yeah.
And
where they come from.
Yeah.
You know,
and,
I mean,
and so who am I to judge you?
Yeah.
Because I might not agree with what you think of fill in the blank, but I don't know what you've been through. So let's lead with kindness.
Preach, girl.
And then have a freaking conversation, which is all that Charlie Kirk wanted to do and did beautifully. How about that speech from his wife?
I think
like,
it was.
We're better for this. We're going to be.
Yeah, I think one thing that's so heartbreaking about the Charlie Kirk thing is when that happened, he was laying his microphone down to let
listen.
the opposition speak their opinion and have their side of the debate. He was basically laying his sword down to let you know, have yours, and that was his thing. That's what he did.
It's amazing.
I think this is a good spot to stop and us start the after hours, you know. And me and him had a discussion several months ago of you know, do we end every episode with a prayer? And I, you know, not to be performative or anything, I said no, if we feel led to, you know, let's do it. Would you like to lead us in a prayer and take us out of here?
I would love to.
Let's do it, Sage.
Lord, thank you for bringing us together today, 3 people that probably would never have thought to be able to have this conversation, but you have led us all here in our own journeys. I'm so grateful for that. So grateful that there is so much more good than bad in this world today, despite what we have been seeing, despite what has made the headlines. I pray, Lord, that you lead all of us to take a deep breath, to think before we speak, to understand where everybody comes from, to lead with kindness, and most importantly, to keep you at the forefront of everything. If we do, I know that you will make sure that all of us are better despite all the tragedies that have been taking place. Again, if we can keep your name first on our lips, then I believe the healing can continue to take place. May God bless everybody in this room, everybody in this country. God bless America.
Amen.
Amen.
Love you, girl.
Thank you guys for having me.
You're the best guest ever.
You tell that to all the
Nope.
guests.
I like
don't
sports.
you?
So we had a fat white dude that could sing earlier, but you're pretty good.
Well, guess what? I don't get to talk about sports as much. So like you triggered all of it. I'm like, let's go. You know the first World Series I ever covered?
No, you time out.
2016
You
Cubs
time
World
out.
Series.
Hey,
We
let me tell
time
you.
out. We got to get behind the paywall. Go see us on Patreon, White Trash with Money podcast. Go check us out. Listen, did you know that? Well, thanks for tuning in. White Trash with Money podcast.